Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of the Hockey Happy Hour, live from the Real Talk Studios here in Runnymede, New Jersey. I'm Matt Tsutsuti, along with the Dark Wing, possibly deaf Brian Daly.
Yeah.
And the broken one, Rob Povia.
My eardrums are bleeding. I can feel it.
That means it's just loud enough.
And behind the board, the also possibly deaf Mr. Ryan Brodo, the sign guy.
Marty, I'm scared.
All right. We are the Hockey Happy Hour, and we are brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy.
Oh, my gosh.
Run by the one and only Dr. Paul Vidal.
Oh,
if you got any issues, aches or pains, anything like that, go to the doctor. He'll take care of you, and you won't have those aches and pains anymore. And you can find him at www.specializedphysicaltherapy.com. And I'll tell you right now, guys, I am ecstatic. The Flyers, they now have 71 points on the standings, beating the ever-living shit out of the Florida Panthers with a very underperforming Sergei Bobrovsky. And by God, it feels pretty damn good to be able to pull that off.
Yeah, it does. And obviously, the show's out to a rip-roaring start. Can you jack me up a little bit, man? Because I
Yes,
think whenever
sir.
he's overboard, I'm underboard.
Yes.
In the volume.
That's what you should be. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, that's about good.
I'm amped up for
we
something
run the
I don't
cast
know.
system here at the
Thank
Hockey
you.
Happy Hour. Some people are here, some people are here, some people are here. You know.
Last couple weeks I've been up here. See if it continues.
That's definitely that's a sound
I
clip
can't.
now.
I can't. No, that's Brodo's actual voice.
That yes, that is Brodo's actual voice. That's a sound clip now.
Oh, my God. I
That's
can't.
some messed up shit. I love it.
Oh, man. Yeah, we're off to a great start. Yo, what's up, Robert? Trying to get you in here for some time.
Yeah, and
Oh, my
Rob said
gosh.
rip roaring good time, and yeah, we're having one already here.
Oh, man. My stomach hurts.
Already? We haven't
Yeah,
even.
We haven't even started
Yeah,
yet.
we haven't even gotten to the halfway point yet of the show.
Thanks, Steph. I enjoy my shirt. My Oscar Strong shirt.
Yes.
Repping it this week.
So there are more of them out there, so go get them. for
Biscuitees.com.
Hockey Fights Cancer.
Shameless plug.
I should
There
get
they
mine
are.
in about 3 to 4 months.
Probably.
At this
It took me
point.
about a month.
Which
but
is
you
a
know
great
what?
thing. I mean, don't take that as a complaint. That means that's how many orders are coming in supporting Hockey Fights Cancer. So that's
All right,
a
so-
great thing.
Funny story involving this situation. So they sent it out to me, and apparently the wrong postage date or got put on it and went to the wrong post office. They sent it back. Well, it turns out they sent me one. They're like, "Oh, Brian, we got your email. We're going to handwrite it, and we're going to send you out another one." I'm like, "All right, late response.
I like it.
It's fine. All right, late response. It's all good. I got my shirt. I'm happy." I got a second one. I love it.
You got 2?
I got 2.
That's awesome.
Nice.
It is awesome. 2 for 1. I love it. Biscuitees is awesome. Just throwing that out there. Another shameless plug.
Mick Foley, bang, bang.
Yeah, bang, bang. But you know what? It's all worth it. It's all going, all the proceeds are going to Hockey Fights Cancer. They've raised over $200,000 so far. Can't ask for anything better than that.
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to ignore this music because it's going to make me
Good
laugh.
luck with that.
Fucking priceless. Priceless. I love it. Love it.
Oh,
Oh, shit. Whew. All right, so we got to the Ralphie D fan club. What?
Ralph Delavecchio fan club? There's a fan club for this?
What the
Then why the hell aren't we a part of it?
what the fuck? What the Ralphie, you can't be your own fan club.
Dun, 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 dun. Everybody here wants to be like me.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
It's a little harsh.
Love you, Ralph. Love you.
Brian,
All
when you get a second, click that page. When
Which
you get
page?
a second.
Do I? What, the Ralphie D fan
Yes,
club?
yes, when you
Is it
get
just him? I'm scared. I have to do it now?
Well, you can do it later.
All right,
Okay,
cool.
so
There's a lot
while
of
you-
comments. Yeah, there's a lot of comments.
Okay, so
All right, let's get to some of these real quick before
yeah,
we dive in.
all right. Go ahead.
Celebrate with the fam. Let's go.
Hang on. Where are we starting? Oh, here we go. David Roski says, "What's up, boys? Let's go Ducks. Angels 2002 World Series champions. Yeah, that was 17 years ago, bro. Way better than 2017 champion Astros. Yeah, because they cheated. Albert Armstrong. What's up, Albert? Says, great win tonight. Our Lord and Savior Gritty is pleased tonight.
Yes, he is.
He's right there.
He is right there.
He died for our sins.
Trevor Harris says, what it do, fellas? What it do?
What it do?
Yeah.
Let's see. Who else we got here? He says, should have been a 4-point week. What are you going to do?
Should have been.
That
but
was
wasn't.
heartbreaking. That was
Yeah.
heartbreaking. I was crying. I was tearing. I was welling up a little bit in that one.
It's one of those examples of, damn, man, the Islanders, man, they're freaking killing it right now. It's hard
I got
to compete
home.
with them.
For the third period. Turn it on. I'm like, all right, 3-2. Not a bad game. Found out they were down 3-0. Fought back. All right, great. I watch them get the tying goal. I'm like, okay, cool. This is gonna be a game. 12 seconds later, game over.
Game over.
I was like, oh man.
And it's like they
I'm
fought
like, that's
so
a
hard.
heartbreaker.
And we just outplayed New York Islanders that have really just handed us our ass all year. It's such a fast team led by Matt Barzal.
Yep.
But we still lose. And then the game previous to that, Islanders had far outplayed Pittsburgh and lost to them. It's like sometimes it's like you want to be not the overall great player, but the team playing the best at the end of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Flyers were the team that I thought personally were playing better in the third period than the Islanders were. A couple bad bounces going Flyers' way, but overall I thought they were the better team.
Yeah.
Bad break in the final minute, getting that fourth goal for the Islanders, heartbreaker.
They got the mojo of the Flyers this season. So it's almost like you want to root for or shoot for a matchup not against the Islanders in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah,
at this
and
point.
I'll be honest with you, and I said this during the preseason, Semyon Varlamov is a difference maker in that team this year. I think they're gonna be one of the teams repping the East in the conference finals. I have no doubt about that.
With Varlamov, though, he always withers the way, or he withered away a lot with the Avs, as we see on the TV over here playing the Capitals. Many times when the lights were shining bright in the big games. So
I think to be honest with you, at that time, Avalanche had a defense. I think the Islanders have a better defense at this point right now than the Avalanche did at that time.
100%.
If it comes down to it, it would have to depend on if the Capitals get into the semifinals, really, when you get right down to it. Because I think if the Islanders run into the Capitals, that's the one team I think that could stop them from getting into the Eastern Conference Finals out of all the teams in the division right
Possible.
now.
We'll definitely find out. Greg Malakovic says, what's up, fellas? What's up, Greg?
Grego.
Hey.
Trevor can't talk that much. He's got a 4 a.m. caller.
Oh.
Oh, that sucks, dude.
That does suck. Steph Hoover, what's up, Steph? Says, win it for Oscar. # Oscar Strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll rep. 2 women working solo at Biscuit Tees for free. 100% proceeds go to Hockey Fights Cancer. And I tell you what, for the orders that they're getting and how fast they're getting them out, they're doing a fantastic job over there.
That was probably in response to my waiting 3 months for a T-shirt.
I
was kidding.
Probably a little bit with what I had to say too, but you know what? I completely get it. They're going nuts over there with what they're doing, but what they're doing for Hockey Fights Cancer and what they're doing for Oscar Lindblom, it's amazing. They're doing an amazing job over there. I honestly got to the point where I was like, you know what? I don't even care if I get the shirt. My $30 is going towards Hockey Fights Cancer. That's great. That's enough in and of itself.
Just bringing up the awareness, bringing up the positive vibes. I mean, that's helping Oscar get healthy.
Yep.
If you don't believe in that, check your head, because positive vibes and positive thoughts make the body healthier.
Robert Aldisberger says, yes, Steph, I was a nurse's aide on a cancer unit for 10 years. Sucks for a great kid at such a young age. And unfortunately, there was a younger kid who played over in Europe, 18 years old, died of a similar disease, unfortunately.
Jeez.
18 years old. I actually think it was the same exact cancer that Oscar has right now.
Ewing sarcoma, yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame. A tough battle for him. I hope that, my condolences to his family. And, it's just brutal. It's brutal. I've had it affect my life. It sucks.
Speaking, since, I don't want to bring up another somber note, might as well double it up now so we can move on. Did want to give my condolences to the Lewis family. Lifelong fan of A2D. or our life, not his.
Yeah.
Just always a great guy to speak sports with. This guy Todd Lewis, that I knew from Ewing, just a few short weeks ago, passed away. He was having some sort of migraine disorder, and I don't know the specifics yet, but just condolences to the family, and kind of wanted to put this show out there for him.
Yeah,
'cause
absolutely.
he definitely did a lot to support us here at HCA.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Moving on. Try and keep it a little upbeat here.
Yes, get it back.
Robert says this team is resilient, though. Always bounces back. Gives a lot of credit to their coach. I like AV. Love AV. Love what he's done with this team. I knew from the moment they announced him as a head coach that it was going to be a move in the right direction, and we're seeing that. I didn't think they'd be as resilient as they are.
Right.
But
I think
prove me wrong in a positive manner.
But I think it also is attributed to the fact that you have Mike Yao and you have Michelle Therrien also along with him, and really just adding more coaching experience on the back of the bench.
Absolutely.
Basically,
All head coaches in this
Oh,
league,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. Patrick Bernard says, "What's up, boys? What's up, Patrick? How you doing, bud?" That's it for right now.
All right then.
What I will say was that what was great about the AV hire was that I was in heartbreak. I wanted Joel Quinville. I wanted him bad. I thought he would be a great disciplinarian for this team, shaping the young pups, and getting AV was just, just as good, if not better, and I think is actually a better fit.
Absolutely.
And I think, he's doing a great job in Florida. Not that we've seen that this week, but
I saw that
Did I just see that right? Did Zach Cassian just fucking kick somebody?
with his skate. Yes.
Skate blade. Oh, that's ridiculous.
Dude's a
I
psychopath.
fucking hate that guy.
He is a
Thank
psychopath,
God
man.
that they wear hockey pads, at least on the chest, because that would have been devastating if
Yes.
that was at the
Boo
ribs.
that man. Boo him. Holy shit.
That
The
was the
Predators are taking it to the Islanders right now, 5-0.
That was the same dude that upended Matthew Tkachuk earlier this season, right? There was a bit. Was it the same player?
Yeah, well, I mean, Kachuk kind of started that. Cassian kind of finished it.
Yeah.
But Cassian's been known to be that kind of a player. He's always been that kind of a player.
Appears. It doesn't even appear. He definitely kicked him.
Appears.
It appears. No, he fucking kicked him. Watch. Look at this.
Oh,
Fucking kicked
It's a
him.
straightforward kick on Cernak. But again, thank God it got him in the pads and not the rib cage, where that could have really done some dangerous damage. It's still dangerous for him to do it anyway.
Exactly.
But, you
How
know,
razor sharp those skates are. Are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
I
Yeah.
mean, we saw a goalie's throat get slit by accident because of those blades.
We've seen Richard Zednick. Same thing happened by his own teammate. We've seen too many injuries.
Islander player went off the ice for catching a skate, and even Travis Sanheim tonight. I missed the hit. I was getting ready to come here to the studio, but I did see him get taken off the ice, and I don't believe he came back on. I don't know. I was in transit or whatnot. I don't know if you guys have any.
I was the same.
Yeah,
I was in transit myself.
yeah. I'll look it up, see if there's any late news on there or whatnot. But that'd be a bad blow, because right now you have a good position. A good strength in that defensive core, a great chemistry going on. You hate to see that, uprooted.
Yeah, absolutely. But we got some of these players need to be more aware of what the fuck they're doing on the ice.
Well, I don't even
True.
think that was Zach Cassian. I just don't think he gives a shit, honestly.
He needs to start giving a shit because he's fucking reckless and he's gonna get somebody really, really hurt.
Yeah,
It's
but
one thing like you're doing your thing with Matthew Tkachuk, that's fine. But when you start to kick somebody,
Yeah.
and pulling a Happy Gilmore, and I'm sorry I'm laughing, but using your skate as a weapon. Not that I'm saying that's what he did there, but I'm exaggerating a bit.
The price
That's a
is
problem.
wrong, bitch.
It's a problem.
It is a problem.
I think you've had enough.
It's a fucking
Bitch.
problem. What are you laughing at?
You
It
go
is a
Happy
problem.
Gilmore. Like he's got Daly's trying to do like this message, this PSA to the public and to the youth of America. And
I bring up Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore, yep. Well, I mean, I guess that's the best way to speak to the youth of America.
I mean, think about it. Look, listen. If you watch the movie, he says, "Yeah, one time I took off my skate and used it as a weapon." Oh, I apologize almost 5 seconds later, but it's the fact that he did it.
Shooter. I thought we were friends. How can I see you in the parking lot?
Oh, good. You can count.
So
And you can count on me waiting for you in the parking lot.
Stay still.
Jaws. I love that.
Hey, shooter, you forgot your 9-iron.
Whoa!
Oh, okay. We got to get back to hockey here.
Rails.
Off the rails.
Apparently, Travis Sanheim did come back and was on the bench for the whole game, but only had a 10-second shift in the third. So, you know how discreet they are with. We won't know about this. It'll just be a lower body injury come the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stephanie Hoover says the fact that it wasn't brought up to the attention of the linesman is ridiculous. That's an automatic ejection. I can't agree with that statement even more. Zach Castine should have been thrown out of the game for that. Okay, I can see how the one linesman might miss it, but when you're down in the corner and you actually have that angle and you can actually see what is going on, or even on the other side of the corner, where's the fucking call?
Yeah, that's pretty
That's
bad.
ridiculous.
Not only is that really bad too, even think about it this way, even in the most violent time periods in the NHL, like you can go back to the 70s and the 80s and the 90s when rules were a lot more relaxed, even when they had more added rules, no one ever kicked someone with their fucking skate, like the blade of their skate into the chest of someone. No. If they didn't like someone, they
dropped the gloves. They put them into the boards and dropped the gloves.
Or they just shouldered them right in the head, which is illegal too. But still, at the end of the day, that is completely tamed compared to kicking someone in the chest with your skate blade.
I do, however, agree with Robert here. He says officiating in all sports sucks, and I can't disagree with that.
Well, if there was ever more proof of that, here it is
Yeah.
at that moment in time.
It's easy to say from home, though. You know what
It
I
is.
mean? You know, it is. I don't mean to stick up for refs. I never have, never will. But I guess I just did.
No, I get it. It's tough to be a referee in any sport because it's all judgment. I get it. But like that, there's always an instance where you can see, I get it, missed calls here and there, but there's blatant ones that they just don't call.
Right.
Like tripping, slew footing is not only illegal, it's dangerous.
It
Yes.
is.
And I see them miss that call so many times, sitting right there. Where's the fucking call? Put your arm up.
Yeah. Well, that's the difference between scumbags and non-scumbags.
I'm heated tonight. Wow.
Non-scumbags are trying to shut you down. Scumbags are trying to hurt you.
Anthony,
Right?
Yeah, no, you're right. Like Scott Stevens, scumbag. But anyway,
Correct.
Anthony Miledio says, I only got to see all 3 periods. Oh, wait. I read that wrong. I was going to say something else. I was like, oh, poor baby. You saw the whole game.
Good night, brother.
Wow. All right.
Gritty down.
oh, oops.
I'm so heated by Zach Cashin right now. I can't even read right. Jesus. Bye, Rye.
we have officially broken the sign guy. It took a long fucking time.
We
but
need a
have
producer.
accomplished this feat.
We need a producer real quick.
Gritty
It does
was
feel
trying-
good out there.
Gritty was trying to step in for us, but he's too drunk right now.
Gritty's trying to leave too, apparently.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm heated.
It's all good.
Anthony says, I only
Maybe I
got
found a better spot.
to
Maybe.
see all of the third period. I was surprised to see 4-2 so quickly after going into it 4-0.
Right.
It happens. 4-0, you're going to see a little bit more gas pedal for the Panthers, and the Flyers let up just a little bit. Stephanie Ann says, Cyranek could have been seriously hurt. What if that skate had slipped and we're seeing another gruesome neck injury?
Yeah.
It's a
Good
great point. We've seen 2.
And that's already enough.
That's more than enough. Granted, 2 of them were accidental.
But still, that's enough.
That looked like that would have been on purpose.
And if it wasn't for, I believe, medical staff, one of them would have been dead right now. So it's amazing that, that they were able to perform a miracle and save that gentleman's life there.
And I agree with Steph and Robert here saying that I feel like we know the rules better than them. We do.
Apparently.
We do, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even with serious things like that. It's even like the simplest of calls. When you see them call a tripping, they'll
Thanks
call
for the
it-
comment, Stephanie. Stephanie Ann, I should say. Specify.
Thank you. But you'll see with the most simplest of calls, like they'll call tripping a hook when it's nowhere near a hook. They'll call tripping slashing. I'm like, that's not a slash. It's like, I get that there's a penalty here, but you got to get it right because you look like a freaking ass when you get it wrong.
Well,
like,
if you see the stick, it doesn't matter how hard, how serious it is. If you see a stick hit your hand, hit your gloves, they're going to call it every time, whether it's actually a hook or a slash or not.
But the point is, it's like, it's like even the simplistic calls, the calls that most people can make just by watching at home, they'll either miss it or they won't be able to, like, they can't call it properly. It's like, how do you fuck that up? Like, that's like the most basic call in the world, and you fuck it up. And they'll blow the whistle late on icing for no fucking reason either. It's like, it's fucking icing. Fucking blow the goddamn whistle already, for fuck's sake. We got a game to play here. I mean, for fuck's sake,
Sometimes they're worried about the makeup call more than making the original call.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
and as
true.
far as icing goes, if you got a race, you think the guy can take it, they're going to give you to the hash marks.
Well, yeah, but even then, it's like, it'll be clear as day, and they won't blow it. I'm like, what more do you need? Do you need one of the players to come by and tell you, hey, that's icing? Like, I mean, what the fuck? Like, seriously.
No, most of the players are already doing their jobs anyway, saying, that's a fucking trip. How are you not fucking calling that?
That's a good point.
It's a fucking slash. He slashed me. My stick's in half.
The stick is through
You're
my
not
arm.
calling it.
He chopped my arm off with the fucking stick.
Where did all this energy come from? Jesus Christ. It's not even that. Oh, it might be the fact that it's my fourth one today.
Yeah.
Maybe. Could be.
Whatever it is, keep on doing it. I love fired up.
Yeah, right.
Your discretion is advised.
Brian, I think we need to talk about your drinking problem.
Stephanie Hoover's like, bitch, come here. I'll show you a hook. Yeah, that's. I'm with that. And Stephanie Ann says, call the right penalty. Like, I'm done. I'm good. Whew.
Are you sure you're done?
I feel a weight lifted off of me right
Brian,
now.
Let's do the exercises.
Breathe in.
Out.
Yeah.
There you go, Maddie.
And he's out.
Proceed.
Three.
He's all
And he's done.
look
Pin
at
him! Pin him! He's out! No! I don't like that he grabbed my leg like that.
It's called a pin.
I don't like it.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Two nights in a row.
This
it's
show has
getting
been rated
seedy.
TVMA for adult situations. Adult situations, strong language.
Oh, all right. So
Viewer discretion is advised.
Well, back to Anthony's point before, too, where he logged in the third period and he saw Florida seriously outplaying. You could be like, well, how the hell were the Flyers up 4-0 if this was going on? You weren't seeing it in the second period. That was one thing I wanted to definitely take time during the show and applaud Flyers that they haven't been doing is with playing like offensive pressure with the lead. That's the best defense you can play.
Yep.
The more time you spend in the offensive zone, it's better than any defense you can be playing, behind the blue line, which, let's be honest, their puck management and certainly handling of the puck in the defensive zone has been suspect this season.
Well, I'll tell you what, the one thing they did really well tonight, and I saw it in the second period, and specifically between Matt Niskanen and Ivan Provorov, and it's something they've done all year, but I saw it more specifically tonight. If one of them makes a mistake, the other one is immediately there to back the other one up.
That's it.
And it's something that
support.
Oof, I loved it. Just to support the way they're supporting each other. You need to see it on the other lines too.
Right.
Yeah.
More than what you are.
100%. And then all of that pressure resulted in that late Scotty Lawton goal. So now you're coming in 4-0. Florida's got to press. They got to push the pace at that point. So that's when you're seeing them back on their heels. It's certainly a good majority of that first 10 minutes of the third period. The save of the game, that save, I don't know if you saw because you were on air. Brian, you were on transit too.
Yep.
But you saw that save from Carter Hart. That seriously took them because that building was getting fired up when it was 4-2.
After the second goal?
Yeah, it was getting fired up. I'm like, oh, God, here we go again, a repeat, But no, Carter Hart shut the door on the road, something that he's been challenged to do this season. And before the injury, leading up to the injury, and now it's great seeing coming out of the injury, playing much better on the road. And that changed the momentum of that game. And then despite the bottom six really carrying the scoring during the first two periods of the game, you see the veterans come up. Giroux, sweet pass to Couturier, puts that game on ice. Then you have the empty netter on top of it. But it just goes to show that a lot of times we complain about the Flyers not giving a 60-minute effort. Well, you got to look at the game within the game and the war of attrition, and I think that's what you saw tonight. And it was
Absolutely.
good that they hung up on that.
Now,
Absolutely.
Now, what I will say too is, and to piggyback off of that, also you got to remember Florida's playing in their building. They got to make the adjustment. They don't want to get embarrassed on their own ice, which they were at that point. Florida's got to make the adjustment here. And on top of it, too, let's also put this into effect. Bobrovsky has not been good this year.
No?
He's been pretty rough this year for the Florida Panthers. Not terrible to the point where he's getting benched.
Yeah, he
but-
had a rough start to the season.
But it's just, whatever he was doing in Columbus, he is not doing here, and it's clearly showing. Maybe it's the defense in front of him isn't as good as it was in Columbus, or maybe he himself is not playing all that well in a Florida Panthers jersey.
Maybe, and I'm just throwing this out there. Look at what the Columbus Blue Jackets goaltenders are doing now. Could be the goaltending coach. Manny Legacy has done wonders with the 2 goalies that he has.
That is true. And to be fair, Manny Legacy wasn't a bad goalie. He wasn't like a starter, but he was a really solid backup in his day.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Hey, you never know, man.
I mean, he had a stretch in St. Louis, or no, he had a stretch in Detroit where he was really good for a little while. I'm pretty sure he was the goal. No, maybe that was Dominic.
No. If you're talking about the
2008?
cup, Hasek won the cup with them. Chris Osgood won a cup with them. Those were 2 of the veteran guys that won.
Who was the more recent cup? Was that Dominic Hasek?
No, Hasek won in 2002 for the Red Wings.
Who was the goaltender?
Osgood.
Was it Chris Osgood that late?
I believe it was Osgood.
Because
it was before
Jimmy.
Jimmy-
I want to say it was Manny Legacy, but
No, it was before Jimmy Howard, so it was Chris Osgood.
Yeah, it was Chris Osgood.
was it? Okay. A couple comments coming in here. Stephanie Ann says, "I'll take 9 in a row, 10 at home, and 20 straight points for Vasi,
Yes.
with Yanni getting another game winner tonight. Lightning looked really good against the Edmonton Oilers tonight, despite not having Stamkos or Kucherov and a couple others who I'm blanking on right now in the lineup for them."
Out due to injury?
Yep.
Wow. And we welcome, we're in Florida on Saturday. I mean the Flyers. I won't be there.
Yeah.
We wish
maybe.
we were in
I could be
Florida.
there.
We could.
Red Eye?
We
Yeah.
Let's go.
could. Getting some credentials.
Let's go.
Let's get that Flyers PR.
Hell yeah, man.
Anthony Miledio says, anyways, who are we guessing in net for Saturday? Hart again?
But before we dive in that, really, we're just making an excuse so we can get him close to Taryn Hatcher. But anyway,
Hook it up.
No!
He's
I
back.
want to.
Don't
Let's
say-
go.
He's
don't
fired
say-
up again.
Don't
Let's
say-
go.
Don't say we never did
I'm
anything
going now.
for you.
I could get ordained. You know what I mean? I'm married.
Yeah.
All right, I need somebody's credit card. I need somebody's credit card.
I don't have one. Brodo, you got one available to you?
I have zero part in this.
Bullshit,
He's just,
you're
he's
part
just
of the
playing the
show.
sexy music in the back.
Okay.
Yeah, Anthony. It'll be hard. I think down the stretch here, especially now that we're getting closer to playoff time, you're going to see more Carter Hart. See how he handles the pressure of. See how he handles the pressure coming up on him. He's going to have some bright lights on him real soon.
And that's what you saw tonight. We brought up Bob. We saw the
Bob.
past and the present go head to head against each other. Remind me of what the poll was tonight. That Sergei Bobrovsky should have stayed in Philadelphia. Agree or disagree? To me, it would make sense. Obviously based on the way he's playing now, but I think he doesn't go on and win the Vezina if he's in Florida during to that era's mismanagement of goaltending. So I don't think he goes on and does what he does in Columbus here in Philadelphia, unfortunately.
No, I
wish.
don't think so either. I mean, look at what John Tortorella did with that defense. He made that defense so good in front of him.
Right.
It makes his job that much easier. And at that time, I don't think that the Flyers defense was really all that good. And we saw that
Up and
considering how many
down.
goaltenders we went through.
A lot of aging veterans. Yeah.
You guys went through. It's just
Yeah. It's contagious. I know.
Yeah.
it is. But no, I mean, I think he was getting moved regardless.
Yeah.
I think he was, especially if everything still went the way it did and we got Hextall as the GM, you still see him go.
I mean, it's tough because it would have been that transitional period between the Flyers retooling and rebuilding the team, and he would have been the starting goalie instead of Mason. You know,
Right.
and you saw what it did to Mason. Mason was good at times, and he was bad at times. You know, it's like defense was pretty garbage in front of him, and he did the best he could under those circumstances.
Drove him crazy. It turned him into the hockey goaltender from Goon.
He literally did because he would actually try to fight people.
Yeah.
After Mason would literally get
He
up
goes-
and just start punching people and shit.
I got 2 rules. Don't touch my fucking Percocets if you got any fucking Percocets.
Yes.
Oh, I got to sit down and watch that movie. So Stephanie Ann says Corelli and Ryan McDonough were the other 2 names that I forgot that didn't play tonight for the Lightning.
Okay.
Ryan McDonough, former Ranger, yep.
Robert Aldisberger says, Anthony, Hart needs to be in the net for at least 80% of the next 24 games. They are much better and more confident with him in net. He's so good post to post and only going to get better, and that's scary. And I 1,000% agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw Moose in that on the back-to-back situation, but you're going to see him sprinkled in there. That's a great part of the situation, that your backup is a quality goaltender. You know, so it doesn't have to rest on the young Carter Hart, who, let's face facts, is up at this level at a historically young age comparison to other, top goaltenders in the league over the past 10
the
12
only,
seasons.
the only other goaltender I can think of that was that young when he came up, well, he may have been like a year or 2 off. Jonathan Gibson at like 2021.
Right.
Maybe quick
But he
back in
didn't-
his day.
Maybe quick. But, I mean, he started out as a backup. He was backing up Freddie Anderson. They pretty much platooned the second year. But,
Yep.
you know, you got to start somewhere. But Carter's he's just a special talent.
Yeah, and to be fair, to piggyback off of your point there, Rob, routinely in history, when you have a guy who's coming up at a very young age, a lot of times those are the guys like the Marc-Andre Fleury's, the Marty Brodeurs, the Patrick Waz. You know, it goes all the way down to like Ken Dryden back in the day. You know, like
I think it's
they
nap
were
time for
all
David.
very young at the time to be starting in the league.
Right.
You know, and they made a massive impact on their
Right.
team. Obviously, I did bring up 3 of the greatest goalies of all time right there, you know.
Sure.
But
I think
Henrik
it's nap time
Lundqvist,
for
another
David.
perfect example.
Right.
Young kid coming out of Sweden, and, holy shit, look at him in the New York Rangers.
Well, to tie the 2 points together, look at him slouching his chair.
Oh, I'll
Right.
explain why in a second.
If the Flyers had kept Bob, do we ever see Carter
You can't
Hart?
even get him.
No. If we had kept Bob, we would never have saw Carter Hart. And it's the same thing if you said if we had kept Boucher, we probably would have never had seen Niedermacki, and we probably never would have seen Robert Esch, and we would.
That could have been a good thing.
But,
Yes.
yeah.
Robert Esch.
Yeah, but yeah.
Psychopath. Yeah. I met him in person. He's fucking nuts, but in all
he
the
is-
great ways.
He is nuts. He used to come to the restaurant I worked in all the time. Him, Darian Hatcher was in there once. That's where I met Eric Desjardins, actually.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool.
And
Sweet.
by the way, we will always have a special place in Darian Hatcher for the Hockey Hall of Fame for the Flyers because he did give that root canal to Sidney Crosby on his first game in Philly. So that was very pleasant of him to do.
Stephanie Ann says Florida needs a better D, going back to what you were talking about earlier, Rob, as far as the way that Bobrovsky's been playing in Florida.
Right. And we talked about that, too, in terms of a show, certainly last show and a couple shows before then, where if Florida was looking for a piece, certainly on the defense, because
Absolutely.
you see those all 4 lines fast as hell. I thought the Islanders were fast. Florida could be just as fast. I mean, Barkov and Dadonov lead the way. Vincent Trocheck, Huberto. I mean, he had a very frustrating game tonight and tried to take it out on one of our boys. I think it was JVR. He got lippy with him, but you never see JVR get lippy. He got motherfucking lippy on that motherfucker.
And JVR,
Oh, yeah.
and JVR almost
You never
fucked
see
him up,
JVR
too.
go in and start
Right.
swinging. He started
Right.
swinging.
JVR almost fucked his ass up, too.
Jack Hall chiming in saying, "What's up, Jack? Bob got the big contract. He's got nothing to play for now."
I mean,
Yes
See
and
the
no.
letdown?
that's a good point. That's a very good point. But here's the thing, though. And to that point,
I mean, you see it less in hockey, but you
Yeah,
do see
you
it,
do.
though.
You do see it absolutely.
I mean, to be fair, Tuukka had a great year before his entry-level deal went up, and then the very following year, Boston had a nah kind of year
That's
the
a good
very
point.
following year with Tuukka.
Yeah, right.
But he did pick his play up, obviously, as that went along. But what?
David, I think it's nap time for you.
What
I
did,
think you need to go into timeout.
what did he say?
Said Luongo never should have retired. Should come back. At what? 43 years old. He needs a fucking walker.
So does
It's a
Elliot.
fair point.
But so does Elliott. And Elliott's still
But
playing well.
Elliot's my age.
Yeah,
He's
so
34.
he
He's
needs
not
a-
42.
He needs a walker. So, yeah.
He doesn't need a walker. Oh, my God, my head. David, it's nap time.
How stupid can you be?
He's not the goaltender that he was. He was a shell of himself. He knew it, and he retired because he should have.
And to be fair, he did play down in Florida, too. And Florida
Still
was
wound
still an iffy team. Although Florida did give everybody a scare there and almost made the playoffs. I think they did once with Luongo, and then they lost to the Islanders on some questionable calls. But anyway.
Can we go
You
back to
digress.
talking about what the Anaheim Ducks should get, Dave? Like, please. Because I actually have some thoughts on that.
Like a top draft pick?
No, like some trade bait stuff.
We'll take Silverberg.
No, I'm not even talking about going to you guys.
No.
I got some other names in mind.
Well, we will talk about, too, some trade targets that have been rumored for the Flyers, by the way.
Robert
Rumors,
Aldisberger
yes.
says Hart's injury might have been a blessing. Hey, I was reading that. Now he's
some
rested.
time,
If it's
yeah.
back to back, yeah. I could see it, but he's rested. He should be fine. He needs to gain the experience of a stretch run for the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Point. It's a very
Absolutely.
fine point.
He's got to get bloodied a little bit. This is his baptism by fire. This is his first 82, you know? So
Sorry, Stephanie. That wasn't at you. I was sorry.
What-
She said, hey, now, I'm 42 and still pulling 12-hour shifts like I did when I was 22. More power to you. I know what that's like. Ugh,
I
that's
love
the
how I
worst.
make the comment in insulting someone.
No, I said no. I'm the first.
first.
I said that he's 43, 42. He needs a walker. That's what I said. And I'm sorry.
Shame on
I'm
you.
sorry.
Shame on you, Daly.
Okay, you're cut off. No more. No more.
Fuck you. Give me my shit. Joseph Horakovsky. I hope I said your last name right, Joseph. Washington, Toronto, Columbus, Florida, Islanders all lose. Flyers win. Today was a good day.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah. And we are now tied with Columbus for that first overall wild card spot, only behind now, technically, if we're going technical, the New York Islanders, who are at 72.
I'm sorry, Stephanie. I'm just waiting for her to. Hopefully, she accepts my apology. Rotska says, "Who should the Ducks get in the trade deadline?" Glad you asked, Dave. There's 3 names in mind,
You
and we'll
totally
get back to
baited
the Flyers.
And you totally baited him into asking that question.
Yes, I
But
did.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yes, I did. I hear him. I hear him.
Yeah.
3 names in the trade bait that I've been hearing, and 2 of which are definitely linked. One I just want because I love him as a player. The one I love is Ryan Donato, 23-year-old. We were talking about him the other
Last
day.
week, yep.
Donato.
And by the way, real quick, give it up top. Fucking call that Zucker trade.
Yes, sir.
So Ryan Donato, I want young player, 23 years old. He's going to be an RFA at the end of the year. That's fine. We'll re-sign him. We'll get like a $2.5 million contract for him. Second name is, and we've actually been linked to him, Matt Dumba, also from the Minnesota Wild. He's got 3 years left on his contract, 25 years old. He needs a change of scenery. We need a defenseman. Badly.
Not a bad choice.
We got assets to give up for that. Third name, and this is the one I'm really excited about. For the love of God, can you shut that duck up?
Turn it up a little bit louder, please.
Thank you. He turned it down. I can barely hear it now. Kasperi Kapanen.
Yes.
Kapanen just signed a 3-year deal. He's got 2 years left.
Yeah, we
He
talked
needs to
about him
change the
last
scenery
week, too.
badly as well.
Yeah.
Ducks need a 23-year-old playmaker. Just saying. Get it done, Bob. Let's go.
Although Toronto did creep back into that third slot again, been playing nice hockey over the past week and a half. I will give them credit. I went the other way with Florida, but
I see them giving Kasperi Kapanen up for some defense.
oh yeah,
Their defense is hurt badly. They need the help.
addition by subtraction.
You know, I've got the guy for you.
But,
He's
okay.
a 28-year-old defenseman. His name is Josh Manson. He's a right-handed defenseman, which you need badly.
Yeah,
Hey,
I saw him play recently too.
Brodo,
Hey.
Rob.
Manson.
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 That's what I said. Did I say Mason?
I think you said Mason. Yeah.
Manson.
Yeah, but who's he playing for right now?
Anaheim.
Anaheim. Yeah, I could have sworn that I just saw him.
Works out. You
Yeah.
probably did.
Yeah,
All right.
I watch Ducks games sometimes.
I wish I could.
Well,
did.
What's that?
I wish I could, but my PlayStation Network's been suspended.
Uh-oh.
What did
Uh-oh.
you do?
What the hell
It's
did you
not
do?
what I did. It's what somebody else did.
Sounds
Somebody
like-
hacked my account.
It's a common excuse.
Back to the comments.
Okay, hold on. All together.
Yes, she accepted my apology.
All together
I
now,
win.
guys. Quack, quack, Mr. Ducksworth. Quack, quack.
Quack, quack.
It's funny how you said all together and not one did it.
Yeah, but that's because we didn't rehearse it. But anyway.
Albert Armstrong says, do you think the Flyers will make a big splash via trade, or will it be underwhelming, which I'm afraid of? I don't think it'll be underwhelming.
Wait,
I
with
think it'll be a need.
the Flyers?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so we might as well jump into this now. The names that I've been hearing
Yes!
are as follows.
See what Steph said?
No,
She said, Ryan, shove that quack up your ass.
that's hurtful. And also kind of yucky.
I think we can leave.
It's very yucky.
They'll just do the show.
I think so too.
Sorry.
No, she says she loves me.
That's not true.
This is what happens when Brian snorts off of a stripper's bum.
You didn't call me.
No, I'm
That's,
sorry.
That's why your PlayStation got taken away.
I can play my PlayStation.
He was
I
doing
can't
it
get online.
virtually. He was doing it virtually.
It's the only way I. Never mind. I'm not going to get
It's
that
the
personal.
only way. What?
That's why you were
I'm not
watching
gonna
the
get that
show last
personal.
night. That's why you weren't in the chat.
Why do you think I fell asleep so early?
You were tired.
I was
Yes.
tired. That does happen to some fellows. They get tired sometimes.
What else you got here?
Stamina.
I was tired, baby. Give me half an hour.
Okay.
Listen, I'm going to go to sleep. You can do whatever you want.
All
I'm
right.
just-
So now we dive into it. So the names that
Ew, I love it. Ew.
The poor bed. Love it.
Oh, my gosh. What happened tonight? It was... All right, so big Flyers, big splash or not?
so here's the trade. Here's the talks that I've been hearing.
God
the
damn.
rumors that have been going around. Obviously, we talked about Tyler Toffoli a few weeks
Oh,
ago,
my
but we're not
gosh.
talking about that. Actually, there's another player.
They've been
on-
hot after him.
They have
There've been
been.
a lot of talks going on with Toffoli, which is encouraging.
It is.
I think in the end, it's not going to happen, though. They're not going to want to get because they have to give up a piece to make it work salary cap wise, and I think that Chuck Fletcher and the Flyers are willing to do that for a rental. To your point,
Yeah, I mean, with where they are, especially fighting for the wild card, I could with their cap, it makes it tough.
yeah.
Because if you want to make a splash, you're going to have to move an asset, whether you want to move him or not.
Right.
I think that asset is going to wind up being Shane Gostisbehere, though.
which has basically been the major talk of the whole thing has been Gostisbehere. And with that, I will say the other name that's been linked has been Joe Thornton.
Okay.
Thorin.
Yes.
Oh, Vespi would be great for that.
Oh,
Doesn't he
yeah, I
say he
said the
sucks all
same.
the time?
I said the same thing before lazy booking. But yeah, there has been a possible rumor talk of Jumbo Joe coming to Philadelphia for a year, which is pretty much all he's got left. I mean, but here's the thing that holds it up. He has a no trade clause. So if he wants to waive it, will he consider waiving it to go to another team to possibly chase?
Who are we talking?
Thornton.
Joseph Thornton.
His name's on the block.
And that's been possibly linked. Maybe it could happen with the Flyers.
Only a $2 million cap hit too.
Yeah, he's
so
not
it's
signed
for
very
a lot.
doable, and it's only a 1-year thing, so it's not a
40-year-old.
commitment. you know.
No. I think I could see San Jose asking for a bit for him. I don't think he goes anywhere.
I don't think what would they ask
If-
for? They can't ask for anything for Joe Thornton, at
If.
least for that.
If he goes anywhere, if he's going cup chasing, I can see him going back to Boston.
That would bring it full
Finish
circle.
where he started. Get a cup with a cup contender. Why not with the team that brought you into the league? I think that makes a little bit of sense. They could use him on the fourth line, third or fourth line.
Which is exactly what people are. That's exactly what they would say. If he does come to Philly, he would be slotted into possibly third or fourth line positioning, which would mean he probably would actually get a shit ton of goals. With the way
Probably.
this team's been playing.
Well, I think you're on to something, Maddie, because I think that's what's going to happen with this team is that a lot of Flyers fans are out there clamoring for, the big acquisition, as any fan base will do heading towards a trade deadline. You don't often see it, because of salary cap issues. And then you see a much lesser deal like a Joe Thornton, and the fans go, oh, what the hell are they doing or whatever. Sometimes, and in this case with the Flyers, getting a two-way centerman for that bottom six could be just as good of an acquisition to where you can move some guys up, Go ahead, Brett.
Listen, I'm on board for that. Bringing in a two-way center. Maybe, who was it we were talking about? Well, I mean, we could always talk about JGP in Ottawa.
Oh, I'm still on that train.
Who is a versatile player who
Right.
can play center and wing, so you
Right.
can move him around.
Well, his money's up, and that's the concern. With JG.
What was it, like 3.2 or something like that we were talking about last
Yeah,
week?
but,
Yeah, in
but
terms of the
Ottawa's
cap hit.
probably going to ask for a little bit for him.
And that's fine. You need a good bottom six player, and he's actually going to probably. Well, you got Drew who can play center on the first line. Coots can play center on the first line. Hayes on the second. If you can solidify that third line center spot,
Right.
That's pretty
maybe
much
move Scott
yeah.
Lawton down to the fourth.
right.
I think you're onto something there.
Or put him back on the wing alongside with Hayes, which was
You
working
could.
well.
You could do
earlier
that
in the
too.
year.
Which is exactly what they would be saying for if you get a guy like a Joe Thornton, you slide him in there, and then you could use him for that time period. Now, the other name that was linked, which I don't think will happen in a million years, is Alec Martinez for two reasons. One, he's a D-man. Two, he's a D-man. Three, he's a D-man.
Yeah.
We don't need another defenseman. We're fine. Like,
I'll still take the upgrade,
I'll
though.
disagree. But I will say this.
if we trade Gostisbehere and we trade Martinez, then that's pretty much the deal I see that happening.
Who was the one guy we talked about last week that you wanted?
That I wanted.
Yes. It was one of the couple guys that we talked about.
Besides JG.
Besides
Oh,
JGP.
Chris
and not-
Kreider?
Nope, and not even Toffoli. Who was the other guy? He just signed to Montreal.
Oh, Kovalchuk.
Joseph says trade goes for Kovalchuk.
Yeah. Hey, getting a sniper of his, and he's low, somewhat low.
Very,
contract?
he's very low contract.
Yeah.
750K plus incentives.
I would like that. I mean, I think Montreal, to your point, I think you were making this point, are going to try to hold on to him. But if they're willing to part with him, that would be a
wants an
great
extension.
acquisition.
And the same thing with Kreider. Apparently, Kreider might be coming off the market as well, trying to work out an extension with the Rangers.
Okay. That's kind of what I thought was going to happen there.
So, and
yeah,
then
go ahead. Go ahead.
Another one was Dylan. That was another one that was linked to the Flyers as a possible choice.
The names that I've heard were Tyler Toffoli, Jeff Carter.
I don't want Carter back.
I don't want Carter. I don't want to see Carter back here either.
I got a wild
But like a
card
team
when
like
you guys
that,
are done.
but a team like that, you're gonna want to you're gonna have to trade a younger asset. And one of the things that the Kings are looking for are young defensemen.
Right.
So Shane Gostisbehere would probably be an expendable option. They may ask for, and I'm not just pure speculation, a Sanheim, a Haig, maybe a
Myers.
Philip Myers.
Yeah.
Maybe they want young talent they're rebuilding.
Right.
I would say more of a Haig if we're going that route with it.
I would disagree with that. I would hold on to Haig because he has really developed this year. He has taken a huge step forward with how he's been playing this year with Braun.
I think if it takes shedding anybody, including Gostisbehere, but if you have to give Gostisbehere to make the trade, okay, fine. But anybody else, no, stay put. Win with what you got because they're doing pretty damn good right now.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like these, I'm looking at more of a low risk. I'm not looking at anything that's going to require us to trade a lot.
I got your guy.
And to
when you're done, I got your guy.
And to be fair, I think Joe Thornton would be that guy because let's be honest here, Joe Thornton he could possibly be retiring by the end of the year.
Joe
Get the
Thornton,
walker out.
Joe Thornton fits that mold. Absolutely.
Yeah, he perfectly fits the mold of low risk. All you have to do, you may just have to give up some picks for him, if anything.
I got a Thornton-like player that's 10 years younger.
Okay, then
that can be had.
go ahead.
I was reading this article from Jamie Bascal. Somebody sent it to me. Nick Bonino.
Bonino would
I like
be a
Bonino.
Bonino, that's a good
You want to talk
choice.
about a good two-way player?
Yeah.
Nick Bonino's a good
Right.
good two-way player. He's got some grit. He can score too.
What's his contract looking like?
2.4 million is his base. He would be a 4.1 cap hit. And the theory in this article is that, and I would kind of hate to see this, but you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs. And Certain, yes, eggs. But
Oh no, I'm just hungry.
but the Preds would be interested in a player like Michael Raffle, and and that's how you can give
It's like he knows. Sorry, go ahead.
okay.
Sorry.
a bottom six player salary. I mean, as much as I love Raffle, that would fit a team need to your point of being that third line center.
Yeah.
And he's a great two-way player. But these are the type of deals that people will bitch about online, but win you hockey games and win you playoff series. So I'm with you on this. And I'm almost drinking the Nick Bonino Kool-Aid right now. I mean, I still want JG. That's my target, right? Toffoli, I think it's too much for a rental.
Yeah.
But I would still welcome Toffoli. But Bonino or Joe Thornton could be your recipe to success here instead of shooting for a top six guy.
and
I would rather go for Nick Bonino because of his youth.
Yeah.
Right.
But you also the thing that brings a little bit of value to Joe Thornton is his experience. But I can't get over his age. He's not the player that he was.
Right.
But it's a low risk deal. It wasn't really meant to be anything else.
What are you giving up to get him?
Not much. You wouldn't give up much to get him in the first place.
Um,
So it'd be one of those low risk, possible high reward deals. It's really a win-win when you think about it. It's like, it's a 1-year rental. What's the worst that happens? It doesn't pan out. It's like, okay, we didn't really lose anything in the process,
True.
And that's ultimately how you got to kind of look at it. That's the deal I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a big splash. The Pajot's a big splash deal. That's a deal that's the big splasher. That's the one where you are giving up Gostisbehere. You may have to give up another player on top of it.
Oh, yes.
Because Ottawa's going to have an asking price. Toffoli's probably the same thing, and you are right on that one.
Let's think about it this way. There's a reason why San Jose is willing to let go of Joe Thornton after how many years?
right.
Willing to trade him.
But at the same time, too, again, low
He's
risk.
got no production.
But low risk. It's a low
It's no
risk.
risk. There's no risk involved. He's not what he was. He brings no value to the table.
But
there's a reason why they signed him a $2 million contract. It's a loyalty thing for him at this point.
Well,
He still wants to play. That's fine. But he's going to bring no value to any other team. He's bringing no value to the team he's on now.
Yeah.
I like the Nick Bonino deal. I can get behind that because he's got value in so many different ways. He can play. He's really good on the power play or penalty kill. He's really good at faceoffs. He's a gritty bit player.
Right.
He has scoring upside. I'd be willing to part with something a little more to get a player like him than to give up nothing to get a guy like Thornton who you're going to get nothing out of.
Yeah, but you won't have to sacrifice cap space, though, because he's making such low money, though.
No, I mean, I get that. Like, that's probably the only perk to having him.
Right.
He's
I'm not
that
saying
player
I
that he
disagree
was.
with you. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No, I
Maddie's
understand.
Back, but I would rather go for the 10-year, junior in this.
Yeah,
fact.
Nick
I mean,
Bonino has so much
it's-
value.
But that's the thing, though. You have to really assess the situation. You have to assess the cap. No matter how much you want to, you have to assess the cap, and you have to assess what you're willing to part with and what you're willing to give up here. Because that's the big problem. The Flyers have such enough crop of young talent, and the problem is that you don't want to give up too many of them.
Can I just say something real quick, though? The salary cap is so freaking shady in the NHL.
Yeah,
And I
it
don't know why I
is.
said freaking when we've been cursing up the storm the whole show.
well, that happened anyway.
So have I. I think, but on Cap Friendly, I've heard it referenced in articles 4 different salary cap remainders for the Philadelphia Flyers, as low as $525,000 and as high as $1.7 million. So I'd like to, if anybody out there knows the exact number of how much money that we have left in the cap, I'd love to know, because I read a different number every day, and I get it's because players are shifting around and that number can change.
Yep.
But from 525 to 1.7, in another article I read, it was over $2 million, but I think that was blatantly wrong.
It could
But
be,
it was-
depending
it was
on who
written.
the article is. But
I mean, it's one of those things of, just the fluctuation of the cap, and then also the cap ceiling getting raised and shit like that. It's just ridiculous with everything that's going on there.
It's like
Oh,
you
we
need Rain Man to figure it out, or Galifianakis from The Hangover,
Yeah.
counting
But-
cards.
But the ultimate thing, though, is that this is the situation that you're in. You got to be willing. you got to know who you're willing to let go. And the problem is that the Flyers are in a very, very tricky spot, and it's a very nice, fine tightrope to walk because you don't want to give up too much young talent for nothing, and you don't want to give up really anything for nothing as well. So the problem is it's like you got a tough trade-off here because you go with say you go for the big splash where you're giving up players. And if you're giving up young talent, you better hope that person's worth it.
Right.
And if they're not worth it, then it's just like, well, then why the fuck did we make the trade in the first goddamn place?
Because you're taking a risk messing up your chemistry. I mean, this team has been pretty damn good coming in the second half of the season from the All-Star break. Points in, 4 out of 6, or no, 4 out of 5, 4 of the last 5 games.
It was something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been nice. So, do they need to make a deal at all? Or do you
Maybe
win
not.
and you let this team just gel together?
I mean, I think they're gelling pretty well right now. I don't necessarily think they need to make a move on the defensive side, but there's so much. They have so much defensive prospects, and some that are really turning out better than others.
Right.
Flyers need a sniper, a pure
Agreed.
goal scorer.
I knew you were going to say it. I was
They
setting you up
need
for
it badly.
Yes.
And in order to do
Yes.
that, there's teams out there willing to part with talent
Right.
that are rebuilding.
Right.
I mean, we're saying to me off the air, jokingly saying that, we'll take Jakob Silfverberg. He's going to cost you.
Yeah.
And he's a 20, 30 goal scorer.
Right.
But in order to get the talent, you got to give up the talent as well.
Right.
But that's the thing that's right now I'm looking strictly deadline. I'm not looking at off season. That's an off season thing.
Holy
That's
shit.
a big time. That's an off season deal. That's where you're talking to Anaheim 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, trying to figure out, okay, let's see what you guys want and let's see how we can
Just
meet in the
stalk 'em.
middle. Yeah,
Straight
that's
stalk 'em.
because that's
Ton
kind
of
of the
comments right
situation
now.
you're
Nice.
in.
Nice.
Ton of
that-
comments.
But that is literally where you're at this point in time. Like, for example, with a Silverberg, Flyers and the Ducks that's an off-season deal. That's a deal where they're calling each other back and forth to talk. That's not a trade deadline deal because that's
he
one
might
of
not be
those-
on the team in the offseason. He's probably going to get dealt at the deadline.
Well, maybe, maybe not. You never know.
Well, it's a team that's in a full rebuild. They're not going to hold on to him. He's 29 years old.
Yes, but maybe the teams won't give up what you're asking for. You know what I mean? You never know. Like you gotta wonder because the deadline it's tough because of the fact that okay you make the big splash you get the player and then the risk that a GM could run into is they get egg on their face and they don't sign him to a long-term deal and then you're fucked because you just gave up talent to get someone that was here for that short a period of time and didn't even win a
Well,
cup.
that's
out
why
of it.
you don't spend all that. You're spending the talent to win a cup, whether he's there long term or not. But fortunately for a guy like Silverberg and some of the other guys that I've mentioned, these guys still have length on their contract. Jason Zucker got dealt, and they gave up a lot for him. But he's still got 3 years left on his contract. They got control for him.
Right.
Alex Galchenyuk is walking at the end of the year. Guaranteed. They have a defensive prospect. I forget his name. Chason, I think his last name was. And then they got a first-round pick out of it. That's a lot for a player, for one player. But it's a player they have control of for the next 3 years who's going to help the team take the next step and get back to the finals. That's what most of these teams right now are looking for, whether it's a UFA or not. But you got to keep in mind, you're going to give up more for guys who are still going to be under contract after this year than you're going to spend for guys who are UFAs.
Of course. Team control, baby.
Yeah,
That's the name of the
absolutely.
game.
Yup. Absolutely. You got a
Yup,
ton of
yup.
comments over here. I'm just saying.
Well, then
Let's
we
read
should
it- read 'em all,
Well,
baby.
hold on. I think we need to hit a break. Read them first. All right.
Oh, there's a lot. It's going to be another 10 to 15 minutes.
Well, all right. We might as well read
No,
them.
it's not going to. It's not really going to be
Let's
10
not.
to 15 minutes. But.
Let's not leave the fam waiting. We're here for the fam. Go.
Okay, so we're dating back a little bit. So Steph Hoover says, I'm willing to bet Ghost isn't moved. I disagree. I think he's gone.
If he's not moved by deadline, I think he's moved off season.
Robert Adisberger and Chrome says the same thing. I think Ghost goes. David said something stupid about Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau coming to Anaheim. Rebuild, Dave.
So mean.
Ugh.
I know.
Joseph Horakovsky. Sorry, dude. I'll get your name. I promise.
That sounded
You know,
right.
it did sound right,
Did.
but I stumbled. But
Felt
I will
right.
get it. We'll get
I
it.
stumbled.
You know what would be a good acquisition? A healthy Nolan Patrick.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But that's the
So
that's the ultimate problem of why we're in this position.
Thank you, because that's another argument of not making a deadline deal because you're, in a sense, going to be getting a deadline acquisition. I mean, I'm not jumping the gun. He's just starting to skate with the team, but still, he will be a shot in the arm and something this team needs, and that's, a center. Top line center. So, yeah, no, that's a great point.
Another reason why you don't go long term here because you don't know what Nolan Patrick's going to be right now.
True.
You just don't.
And that's why you get a guy versatile, a guy like a GGP, a guy who can play the wing, either side, plus center.
Right.
It works out for everybody.
And a big argument against Nolan is that, what has he done? He's been, seriously under his draft prospectus. Yeah, he has, but every player matures on a different timeline. And the skills are there.
Well, wait a minute. Coots was in the city for 4 years, and we were calling him a bust. And then all of a sudden, Hackstool shows up, and then he's on fucking fire. And he's even doing well with AV. So I don't want to hear that bullshit. All right, go ahead.
Okay. Frank Vespi, absolutely. Out of nowhere. You must have known we were talking about him. Said, who said Joe Thornton? His ears were burning.
I texted him.
Steph said Ralph can go. Rob said Haig developed well. Disagree there, Brian, and that's fine. I think he's taken a step forward. I don't think he's been that good. I'm not saying he's lighting the world on fire, but he's been a better defenseman than he was last year and the year before.
I mean, I like Raffles' game, but if you can upgrade there, you obviously do it.
Yeah, I mean, no offense to Raffle. He's been fine while he's been here, but
he's a great power forward,
It's like Gudis. It's not he was doing better when we traded him, but we got Matt Niskanen, and he's been doing very well. So it's a great deal. So
that was a great deal getting Niskanen.
Yep.
Albert says Gritty's the only Flyer that's off limits. Can't disagree with that. Stephanie, no, you are not the only Flyers fan. I am actually an Anaheim Ducks fan. Joseph says I would give Raffle away for just about anything. What the hell?
That's harsh.
That is kind of harsh. Frank Vespi says, anyways, hey, yo, sorry to bother you at work. Sorry I'm late. Are you ready for Valentine's Day? Not me. I hate it just as much as I hate Joe Thornton. Robert says,
sounds like a personal problem, but okay.
Agreeing with Steph, I think Myers and Braun have developed better. I'm so on Haig, kind of been stagnant this year. I mean, like I said, I think he's been better. I think he's been better.
Hits, though, he's leading his team in hits, no? He's got to be.
Haig, I'm not 100% sure about that. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
I'll look that up.
They're going back and forth. Ghost. Offensively, yes. Offensively, no. Ghost isn't producing offensively. He's a liability. Going back and forth there. Joseph Horakovsky. I will get it. I promise. It seems like the cap is like $30 million for 29 teams and $200 million for the Pens.
Agreed.
Like, how do they afford?
Pin that comment. That's the best comment of the night.
Oh, absolutely. How do they afford Malkin, Crosby, and continue to be the most aggressive team at the free agency trade deadline year after year? It's just good business there. I got nothing else for that.
It's just good business.
Robert says, well, he wasn't good last year either. First year was great, and I understand so it's a defensive liability. I'm assuming he's talking about Ghost there. It's hard to look at cap friendly and understand it with all the calls from LV much. So. Yeah, man, that was something you said earlier, too.
Right. Yeah, that's a great point.
Albert says, seems to be like the best course is to stay the course, wait on someone's desperation, and address improvements via free agency.
Sure.
But if you have a surplus of talent, perhaps maybe make a marginal value. And that's kind of where I think the Flyers are defensively.
Yep.
And get somebody on the offense.
Robert Hogg, 105 hits, leads the Flyers. Would you guess who's number 2?
In hits?
Connect me.
Actually, yeah, that's a pretty good guess.
That's a good guess. No, he's down there, though. I mean, you would think it'd be more. He's 11th with 56.
Wow, that is really low for him.
Yeah. Tyler Pitlick.
Okay, but you know what? That doesn't surprise me. Oh, and he had a nice goal tonight, by the way, when Tyler Pitlick out there.
That was another great acquisition over this offseason in terms of, you got to respect the quality bottom six guy, and he's always active in the game. He's always contributing, even if it's not on the score sheet, and lately it has been on the score sheet. It just plays like that, man. That's why, if you wanted to get another player of that ilk come trade deadline, there's a point to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You sure about that? Is that math right? What time is it? Is it really? Jesus Christ.
Well, we got any more comments?
Yeah, we still got a bunch. We're
Okay.
just gonna go no break.
Yeah.
There's only about 15 minutes left anyway. So.
Oh shit! Really? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I didn't realize it was as
All
long
right,
as it
let's
was.
go right ahead then.
Albert Armstrong says we're amazing. We're again talking about Flyers with some cap issues. I was under the impression Hexy took us out of cap hell.
Well,
he did in a sense.
He did, and then we signed Kevin Hayes to a big deal. We signed JVR to
Worth
a big
every
deal.
fucking penny, by the way, Kevin Hayes.
Yes, he has
Yes,
been worth the
sir.
money, though, so I can't really get mad at it. And then also, keep in mind, we still are on the hook for Giroux and Voracek for the rest of our lives. So, you know.
Yeah.
Stephanie
it
Ann
takes
says
years for that to go away.
absolutely. Stephanie Ann says I don't know the specifics of Philly's cap situation, but your cap space adjusts daily on based on who is on the AHL and who's on the NHL roster. Which
Right.
It's something we
Yeah, because we've had
discuss.
the call-ups
That's
and
how
the
it can
send-downs.
fluctuate. Yeah,
Right.
depending on what your active roster is for that given day. Yeah.
Anthony Miletio says I don't see Ghost going anywhere this season. Not 100%, so the return is minimal. What else we got? I would love to have Thornton and Marlowe on the Ducks. Are you kidding me? Fucking Roscoe. Maybe 15 years ago. Jesus Christ.
That would have been scary. Timu Solani, Patrick Marleau, and Joe Thornton on the same team, and Solani's prime. Good
Just
God.
give him the cup.
Yeah.
Joseph Horakowski says, if you don't hear a defenseman name called, they're probably doing a good job jogging.
Correct?
Or he's probably doing a good job. Sorry.
I know. What you're saying.
Hashtag Hague.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I'm not. Believe me, I'm not saying Hague has been lighting the world on fire. I'm saying that not at all. But he is taking a step forward. He's hitting more. He's playing a little bit more controlled, more disciplined. I see him, working a little bit harder in the corners, trying to get the pucks. But
Yeah.
he's still got some room to grow. He's always going to have room to grow.
Yeah, young players all like, yep.
Yep. Stephanie Hoover says Pitlick and Knack are playing fantastic.
Oh, yeah,
They
man.
are.
I mean, almost had a second. I mean, if he just would have gotten into a fight, second Gordy in 1 week, and you called the first one. I'm going to give credit to where credit is due. But, yeah, I mean, I heard about this kid's goal-scoring ability when we drafted him. What I didn't know is how tough of a player he is, Strong to the body, strong on the puck, can handle himself with the gloves off. This guy's going to turn into an all-around great player for this team.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Albert says this show has been great.
Nice.
Boom.
Well, thank you for the compliment.
That's why it's gone by so fast.
Yeah.
Probably. Absolutely.
Time flies when you're kicking ass.
See,
So Stephanie said to go back to some of her earlier comments about the Ducks in childhood, and I'm curious about what she said. Whoop, too far.
He went back to Roscoe's comment.
I went back to Roscoe telling Steph Hoover that he loved her. Sorry, Steph.
What?
Poor
I missed
Steph.
that one. Where the hell is
well,
that coming?
while you're going back and scrolling back and looking for that, though, I got to give props to my son, Carter Hart. How sweet is that Razor tribute mask?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, that was a pretty awesome
Badass.
mask.
Awesome.
The late, great Ray Emery, former
Awesome.
Philadelphia Flyer.
A shame he couldn't come back against the Capitals over the weekend and been playing against Holtby, because on the upper right side was the fight of Emery against Holtby where he trashed him.
But the best part,
Trashed him.
But symbolically, the Flyers got revenge for that game
Yes.
because we absolutely spanked the Capitals
Yeah,
in
we
that
did.
one,
It was
7-2,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually I think it might be the same score. I could be wrong, but still, we spanked the shit out of the Capitals, and they're the top team in the division after we had just come off of a 5-0 beating. But I got it.
Yes.
All right, so she was saying, replying to David, I don't even remember what David's comment was, but she said only if they go back to the OG jerseys, then we can all relive our childhoods. Relive my childhood every day. I got
But
one
he
of them hanging
does.
up in my.
All right,
Got one of them hanging up, and then she goes on to say, and they would have to script a flying V play.
The flying V.
Whap, whap. Speaking of,
Oh no.
We got to do that in an upcoming show. Just have a whole segment talking about your favorite hockey movies. It'd be great.
We
So
do.
fun.
ooh, that
We
would be
do.
awesome.
Just don't do it on the first week of March because I won't be here.
We'll wait for
We'll
We'll do
wait.
it the
We'll
first
wait.
week of March.
You shut up.
I thought you were trying to get on his good side. You just did away all that effort.
Well,
There we go.
we'll still.
So,
I was
It
going
can
to
all
say,
quickly end.
Mute.
all right.
and I was
So-
going to say something about the hockey happy hour cheerleaders.
Oh no, please continue.
Yes, we're going to put them all right here.
We're just going to make that public now.
We're gonna make three.
Okay.
We're gonna three. So we'll take volunteers. Hey,
Volunteers.
Give
obviously
me
have
an
the
H.
female persuasion.
Give me an H.
Give me
Give
an
me
O.
an A. No, I was just gonna do 3 H's.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That works too. That works.
What
too.
does that spell?
Ah.
Yeah.
You're gonna have in order to be a hockey happy hour cheerleader, you're gonna have to be a bimbo. I'm sorry, because that's the only way that would work.
Well, that just killed
I'm sorry.
90% of the
there
application
it goes.
pool right there.
No.
There we go. It's for the betterment of
Sometimes,
All women hockey
Sometimes.
fans are beautiful to me.
absolutely,
All of
absolutely.
them.
There's nothing more beautiful
Even
than
Devils ones.
than a woman.
Yeah.
Listen.
History.
Listen, this is true fact here.
True fact.
There's nothing more beautiful than a woman in a hockey jersey. Well, one thing. A woman with a hockey jersey with nothing underneath. Just-
Correct.
And even
Okay,
better,
there
That's
you
it.
go. All
Greg,
right.
Greg probably follows him on Instagram too.
Probably does. Probably does. Robert says Caps are struggling big time. Lost like 5-7, I think, losing tonight again.
Wow.
Yeah, they haven't looked good tonight.
That could be dangerous for them if they keep this shit up going into the playoffs. But anyway,
So you focus on a particular player's goal scoring milestone.
All right, thanks,
You forget
Robert.
how
Thanks
to
for
play a
tuning in,
complete
bro.
game.
yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, Robert. Have a good night, brother.
Thanks,
Peace,
brother.
man.
Thanks for all the
Okay.
comments, man.
Yes, thank you.
So
All right.
Anthony Miledio says CBJ having a little anxiety with Seth Jones' injury. And Joe Horakowski says Youngblood. Youngblood is a great hockey movie.
Agreed. Yeah, that'd be in my definite top 3. Probably my favorite one's gonna piss people off. We'll save that for that show.
All right.
Ooh.
We'll
Nope.
keep it. We'll keep
Nope.
it.
Not that
We'll,
one.
we'll
Nice.
save it for that later.
I'll tell you off.
We'll keep
Yes!
it. All right. So before we move on here, before that, we got 7 minutes left. So real
I've had
quick,
I'm ready
Bri,
for a nap.
Bri.
Yes.
No, not yet. You got to do a live scoring update.
Oh, yeah, we got to do that, don't
Yeah.
we? All right.
See what that Caps Avalanche score is.
Well, it was 2-1 going into the intermission, I believe.
True.
Anaheim's losing 4-0. Surprise, surprise.
I have
God
some special
damn it.
music for Brian this week.
Flames,
Oh, good. Then
Oh,
please
yeah.
go right ahead.
Flames are catching fire.
All right,
again.
let's.
I see what you did there.
Yep. All right, I'm ready. All right, so bunch of games in progress tonight. We're going to start with all the finals. Obviously, we know Flyers won 6-2 tonight.
Yeah.
Buffalo Sabres beat the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight by a final score of 4-3 in overtime.
Good Buffalo.
Stars upset the Maple Leafs by a final score of 3-2 with only 19 shots on net.
Wow.
Oilers lose, as I projected, to the Lightning by a final score of 3-1. Devils beat the Red Wings 4-1. Coyotes lose to the Ottawa Senators tonight by a score of 3-2. That's got to hurt. That's a
Yeah.
stinger. Predators beat the Islanders tonight 5-0.
Why can't we not?
Thanks,
do that?
Preds.
But thank you, Preds. Yes.
Rangers win by a final score tonight of 4-3 over the Minnesota Wild in the shootout. And for games in progress, the St. Louis Blues are up on the Vegas Golden Knights 4-2, halfway through the second period. At the end of the second, Avalanche up on the Capitals by a score of 2-1, and there's a disgrace going on in Anaheim right now.
The Flames are.
Flames
beating
are up
Anaheim
4-0,
4-0.
halfway through the second period.
They'll be back, Brian. They'll be back.
We'll see in about 2 years.
All right. So with that, one last thing we will do before we will send this one on home, and we will need the participation of one Mr. Ryan Brodo. Ryan.
Yes.
Why you gotta interrupt this DJ moment? He was feeling the flow right there.
I
Well-
had to get to the moment.
Feeling
Unfortunately,
the moments up and down.
unfortunately,
and around. It's
he
Yes.
brought this up.
Sorry.
He brought this up off mic, and so we need to address this.
Oh no, I bring up a lot of things off mic.
You are
Oh,
trying to
no.
do the most hated personalities in sports in a future date
Oh
on the
yes,
Fix.
yes, next week.
And Because of this, you needed our opinions on
Yes.
eight of the hated Flyers?
And I would love for the fan to chime in on this too. So next Wednesday, we do this once a year around this time of year. We do a bracket show in honor of obviously March Madness. Last year, we went through the most beloved Philadelphia sports figures since the year 2000. This year, we figure we'd do the exact same thing, but the most hated Philadelphia sports figures since the year 2000. What we're doing, we're splitting it. We're doing a bracket of 32, and we're going 8 Eagles, 8 Flyers, 8 Phillies, 8 Sixers. So I figure for you guys, you're the hockey experts of the platform. I want to hear. I'll give you the names I already have. You tell me if you agree with them, you disagree with them, and if you would add or subtract any. And fam at home, chime in on any Flyers figures. It could be an athlete, a GM, a coach, anything involved with the Flyers. It could be freaking Gritty. You know what I'm saying? Anything that you would nominate for the top 8 list to be involved in the bracket next week.
Gritty's not hated though.
Even by you?
No, he just creeps
Now?
me out.
Oh, I understand. So I have.
We got to
in
have
the-
you meet Gritty one day.
Yes, and we need to film it. I met him. I sent you the video. I met
You
him.
did. That was
on
pretty
the-
funny.
On the hoverboard.
He's just
on the
sitting there.
hoverboard.
Poof.
He lifted his skirt for me.
Hey now.
That's serious. He did.
Yeah, he does those things.
Yes.
Hey, man.
Why is he wearing a skirt to begin with? But
Because he's
anyway,
Gritty.
that's
hey,
a discussion
he's a
for another
party
day.
animal, man. Leave him alone.
Let him
Just-
live.
Die
So
for our
on
sins.
my list, I have Brizgalov.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Put him up there.
I have Dave Hackstall.
Yeah.
I mean,
He
you
was
have
pretty
to.
hated.
You kind of have to at this point because
I don't hate him.
I don't hate him, but I think the fan
base
does,
overall, just they
honestly,
by the time
you
he
know.
was fired, they hated him. They wanted him out.
I mean, he's not likable. He's just not a likable guy, you know. I just draw his demeanor, but what did he do? I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean, let's go through the list. I got one that if you don't have, maybe you could potentially replace him.
Okay.
We'll see.
Vinny LeCavalier.
Oh, that's a good one.
110%.
No, I mean, when
He
they
was
fired Laviolette, he went downhill.
terrible.
And he got in the fights. He hated the coach. The back and forth with
But
the
the
coaches.
thing
too.
is
Yeah,
that
but
Vinny,
when Peter Laviolette was here, he knew how to utilize a guy like Vinny LeCavalier. Hackstall didn't utilize him the right way.
no,
and he didn't like it.
Nope, Berube. Berube took over after
You're
Lavi
right.
got fired.
You're right.
To go with Joseph, I definitely have your one. Paul Holmgren.
Paul Holmgren has to be there. Yes.
Ding, ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Is that the-
Agreed.
Is that the one you
110%.
had?
No.
Oh, okay. Andrew McDonald.
Yes.
Yeah. Agreed.
This was a controversial. Chrome really voted this in. I'm hit or miss on this. Somebody said he said Lindros.
See, the thing is, it's only because of the way he left. That's
Yeah.
the only thing that ever people have a problem with. But that's the thing, though. I don't buy that bullshit anymore. You want to know why? Because it's like it's been so long removed. And on top of it, Lindros was the Flyers for so long. And he made the Flyers relevant in a time period when they were garbage in the early 90s.
But I mean, if you want to discuss, you know, in terms of most hated, there were some heated words that he put against this organization,
Yeah. Yep.
against Bobby Clark. The two of them never talked for years because of it.
True.
So, I mean, I believe that you can wipe away past misgivings, but for the point of your exercise here, I think you do include them.
Okay.
I agree.
I'm with you, and the best person to kind of like example off of is the situation with Scott Rowland.
Right.
Scott Rowland wanted out. He
Yeah.
became public enemy number one to this Phillies fan base, not because that he wanted out, it's because of what he said to get out.
Right.
So
And the last name I have, so I have 7, so I'm going to need another one anyway. In addition to, and if we eliminate any, Luke Shen.
Luke Shen goes
I
there.
don't necessarily know if he was even hated.
He was
He
terrible.
was hated because of his suckiness.
He was awful on this team.
There was another one I
and
thought
we
of.
traded
but that's
JVR for him, too, which is
Carcillo?
stupid.
That was mine.
Dan
Yeah,
Carcillo would have been a
Carcillo.
good
Yeah.
one.
Dan Carcillo, you could
But
say
you also got to
that,
think with
but
Carcillo, people
people
liked
loved
him because he
though.
he
got
fought.
but he got in the way in that 2010 run.
No,
They couldn't even
absolutely.
play him at the end. He was a liability.
Absolutely.
You
he
could
was
also,
a liability.
You could also put Zach Ronaldo in there because he was a piece of shit, but not nearly as well known as Danny Carcillo.
Do we have any other goalies? Because like I was telling Maddie, the problem with all these Flyers teams since 2000 for this exercise is they were all so
okay.
likable. You know what I'm saying? Like they weren't.
Well, you could say Esh because he was only good for 1 year.
You can put Ash. Definitely put Ash in there.
because he never panned out. And then
Would you put Brashear on this list?
No, you
Okay.
can't.
No,
put,
they love-
Brashear is
yeah.
too.
Fan base
No,
love him.
you
Okay.
can never hate Brashear. You could put maybe Alexander Daig.
Michael Layton.
Well, did he play in the
Michael
2000s?
I think
Michael Layton is a good one.
Michael Layton could be one, but I think Daig was on the team in 2000.
If he was on
But
the
he was
team in
garbage.
2000, that would be an absolute. That would be a good one.
Joseph says Patrick Sharp.
Well, Sharp was on
No.
the team for a period of time, but he was good when he was on the team. If we traded him, he didn't leave. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You can't really say.
We're
it's a-
just mad how good he became with the
Yeah,
Chicago
like
Blackhawks
he-
bitter.
and the Cups. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
bitter. If this was a bitter bracket, he would win.
Yeah.
Oh,
him-
he says, didn't he score Game 6 winner? I guess. he's
No,
talking
that was
about
Patrick
Patrick
Kane.
No,
Oh,
Kane
okay.
scored that one. Yeah.
That was Patrick Kane.
But
yeah.
Layton could be on the hate mark
Scumbag.
for that goal going in because he did not hug the post at all.
I'm
and-
so glad you said
story.
that. It's been so long since that's been brought up. Patrick Kane, scumbag. Love it.
What about Bobby Clark as an executive?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he
it's-
was beloved for a long time because he kept the team relevant for so long.
It's hard to say with Bobby because it's a gray area. Yeah, the whole thing happened with Lindros, but when the chips were down, everybody sided with Clark.
But with
They
so
didn't side
many
with
problems, the
Lindros.
one consistent that was there, and I've learned that if there's many different problems and one consistent, usually the problem's with that constant.
Yeah.
And it's him, very stubborn, very
Yeah, he was.
bullshit guy, executive. So, yeah, I mean, you know what? I would probably replace Hacksaw with Clark.
Okay.
Just to throw it out there.
All right.
Maybe he gets beat in round one because no, Bobby Clark, we love him from the 70s, you know what I mean, yada yada, so
Well, what about this guy?
Okay.
Peter Forsberg.
I would actually put Forsberg in there only because we got him, and he was supposed to be our captain and lead us into the next era, and he got hurt right off the bat.
Yeah, the
and
skate.
He
had
was never
one
the
full
same.
year, and that
He
was
was
it.
never the same.
Yep. And by the way, the team that he led got absolutely spanked by the Buffalo Sabres in the first round. So
Joseph says
another
I-
reason why I hate them.
hate him out of ineffectiveness.
Actually, I like that comment.
Yeah, he says,
like
I
it.
love all my Flyers. Can't we just do any hockey player like we hate Ty Domi?
Yes.
Well, so let me ask you guys.
Quality.
Oh, put the fan that got into the fight with Ty Domi in the bracket.
Yes. Or can I put all the
Wait,
fans
but
that
who
threw
hates
the,
him?
No, it should be all the fans that threw the friggin' the bracelets.
Oh, yeah, that was
yeah.
classless.
Actually, they're on this.
Fucking-
They're on this list.
They are
Yeah,
fucking
have to be.
classless.
Because
those
I put the
drunken
Sixers medical
assholes.
staff for the Sixers, so
There you
that's-
go.
I put a
Yeah.
collective. Fans
That's a great inclusion.
that threw the bracelets. Okay, so with this exercise, who's your most hated Flyer since 2000? Do you want me to re-go over the list?
Yeah, we go over the
sure.
list.
Briz, Hackstall, Clark. I'll just put all of them in there.
Cool.
Vinny LeCavalier, Andrew McDonald, Holmgren, Lindros, Shen, Carcillo, fans that threw the bracelets on the ice.
For me, it is beyond a shadow of doubt, it is Holmgren who
I'm
wins
with you
my
on that.
ire
For
on
me,
this
it's
one.
Andrew McDonald.
Andrew
Yeah,
McDonald
he turned
is
into-
Very frustrating.
He had one very good year,
and he was
and then he
garbage.
turned into a traffic cone the rest of the time.
Yeah.
The other 4 or 5 years that he was here.
Steph says
Ridiculous.
Brad Marchand.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a Bruin.
Oh, so she's just going overall.
Yeah, she's going overall.
Yeah.
You could say
Nobody likes Brad Marchand.
we could say R.J.
Pipsqueak.
Umberger.
RJ.
But he's so good. He is good. He had a filthy goal. He had a filthy assist the other
Marchand,
night.
not Umberger.
You know what? We had a nomination last night. Somebody said Chris Pronger.
No, you can't
'Cause he
hate
got
Pronger.
hurt.
It's not his fault he got hurt. No one could have saw that coming.
Some of these
you
were
know?
circumstantial, and that's an extreme example of.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say Forsberg in the same boat as Pronger. Then
Yeah,
You know,
but I feel like Forsberg at the end of the day.
you could be mad to a letdown. I get it. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was more there than with Pronger because Pronger, he was our captain, but Richards was before him. So I think there was more anger with Richards leaving, and then
Right.
Pronger took over, and then he got hurt.
For me, it's got to be Holmgren, or I like Carcillo too. Car Bomb is just a great nickname because he's just a bomb of a player.
So both Stephs agree that the fans that threw the bracelets are the
I
most
think
hated.
that's gonna be a tough out next week.
That
I think that's
is,
gonna be a
yeah, that's
really
up there.
tough
That was
out.
very disrespectful. Yeah, that's up there too.
Ooh. I mean, I don't really know much about him, but this is a good name thrown out there. Joseph says, let's just name obscure Flyers. I'll start. Valerie Zelapukin.
Yanni Ninema,
That's great.
John Sim. Dykhouse? No.
Yeah,
everybody knew who Dykhouse
Steph
was.
Hoover says, never been more embarrassed in my life.
Yeah,
I'm like a partial fan. I was embarrassed.
it was awful.
It was
awful.
terrible.
They had
Oh, yeah,
Snyder.
that
It
was an awful fucking display.
I mean, the fact that the PA address, the public announcer had to literally say no throwing things on the ice.
Oh, well, nah, you did it.
Yep.
You gave the
Come
Flyers
on,
a
guys,
2-minute
this is
penalty.
Philly. Yeah, it's
I mean, I get it. The Flyers were
embarrassing.
losing their
It is
asses
embarrassing.
in this game, but it's like
things
we
are
were
bigger than sports.
But yeah, and then the worst part of it is like, listen, I know we were losing, but we were overmatched in that series. We were lucky we even got there.
oh, Steph was there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, really?
Gross.
Wow.
Oh my God, that's even worse.
It's a disrespect
so
to
bad
Mr.
for
Snyder's
Steph.
legacy.
It was.
Yeah.
After all the league had shown him all the respect in the world, too.
Right.
For the fan base that he was cultivated, to show that kind of disrespect, that is the most
Was it
disgusting
black eye?
thing.
It was a black eye? It still is a black eye. I don't think the black eye's gone away.
No.
No.
I think that's more of a black eye than when the Eagles fans threw the snowball at Santa.
Well, you know what's
Yeah.
funny?
Honestly,
I
I
agree
think
with that.
it really
I agree with
is.
that.
I always tell the people, especially the national media, whenever people want to talk about the Santa Claus and the snowball, like it's not obviously ideal. It's not good optics, but it was way back then.
Yeah.
When people it shows how like when people take shots at Philly fans, they don't do their homework because it's literally a layup from 4 years ago.
Yep.
With the Fly, but nobody talks about that. Like if somebody wanted to say, "Oh, Philly fans are quote unquote trash and they're bad people," bring that up. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
if they brought that up, I would have no
Defense, yeah.
defense of it. It's like,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, to be honest with you,
You can't defend that.
I
No,
think
it's impossible.
You
No
know what?
defense.
To be fair, with a lot of the guys on this list, you can defend their actions to a point, maybe with the exception of Carcillo. But you could defend their actions to a point. They were trying to make the team
Speaking
better,
of scumbags.
or they were just trying to play. Oh, Wilson, hi. And all the things that I say here, all of them tried to make the team better, or they tried to get the team to win the cup. And even though I hated Paul Holmgren, to be fair, he was trying to make the team better to go and win the Stanley Cup. Even though they failed miserably, I will say I'm going to change it. It is going to go to those fans. You want to know why? There's not a single thing about that was trying to make the team better or trying to make the fan base better or trying to make the image better. Fuck all you guys who threw those fucking
telling you.
wristbands onto the ice.
That's going to be a tough out. That's going to be serious.
I mean, we already got 2 votes for it.
Yeah.
So a couple more comments coming in here. We got Joe going to his obscure Flyers. He threw out Sean Podine's name out there.
Sean Podine.
Who didn't love Sean Podine back in the
Pelly
day?
Eklund.
Pelly
Boom.
Eklund.
Murray Craven. Boom.
Oh, here we go. Let's go 80s with this. Ilka Sinisalo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Look at you.
There we go.
Little Keith Acton time.
Yeah, there we are. What about you, Bri? You got one for us?
No, not really.
Really?
No.
All right, give us an obscure Anaheim Duck.
Julie the cat gaffed.
Obscure? Goldberg.
Goldberg.
Look at where he is now. He can't even be a part of the new show, which is filming, by the way.
Yeah, did you see the picture?
So exciting.
Uh-huh. He looks terrible.
He looks like he did in the minors. In D2. He's
Yes.
just missing the stupid teal friggin' jersey.
But what's nice, Lauren Graham's going to be in the show, too. She's eye candy.
Oh, yeah, baby. Gilmore Girls. Nice. Bad Santa. Yeah.
Fuck me, Santa. Fuck me,
Be
Santa. Fuck
still,
me, Santa.
be still my heart.
Albert Armstrong says, I know people hate Mike Richards, but I don't know. I felt he was underrated, an underrated captain at times.
I don't hate Mike Richards. I can't. The guy was the epitome of a Flyers captain
Yeah.
when he played. Just like Keith Primo, really, when you think about it.
Truth.
Well, I mean, Richie scored a lot more than Primo did.
He
Primo
did.
was he was an unbelievable playmaker.
He was a heart and soul guy. Heart and soul.
Joseph Horakowski says, I hate Jeff Carter for missing an empty net goal in Game 6 of the Finals.
Okay, yes, I'll give you that one. That's a pretty bad one on that one.
He'll get honorable mention for that.
Real quick before we get out of here, speaking of captains, we got to give credo to our current captain. Little congratulations, Claude Giroux, 800 points in a career.
Yep.
Nice.
One of 4 Flyers to do with Bill Barber, Brian Propp, and the aforementioned Bobby Clark.
And go ahead, finish it.
Jump in.
And I think we can officially say, for all those out there who hate on Giroux, shit on Giroux, and say that Giroux's not that good, what say you now? Giroux is one of the most elite players we have had on this team.
That's why I didn't want to stop you, man, because that fit exactly with the mojo of what I'm saying here. Not only did he get to the 800 points, but another milestone is right on the horizon, too. He's won power play assist away from tying Bobby Clark for the Flyers' all-time lead.
Wow.
At 234.
Oh,
so
man.
with 2
Sorry.
more, he'll own that record. I think it's hard to argue that Drew has been, and still is, one of the Flyers' greats. Stop bitching about Drew.
Yep.
So I do want to say one more thing before we sign off here. It's a little bit more somber. I want to give my heartfelt condolences out to the St. Louis Blues organization and Jay Bouwmeester especially
yes.
for what
Thanks for
happened in the
bringing that
Anaheim
up.
game the other night, collapsing on the bench, turning out to be a cardiac episode is what they're calling it.
I can't believe this whole show went by before we mentioned
Oh,
that.
I was
Wow.
waiting.
Yeah.
I know that they used a defibrillator to bring him back. The scary part is his dad was in the audience. They were doing the dad's trip in Anaheim. So kudos to the St. Louis Blues medical staff, the Anaheim Ducks medical staff for acting as quickly as they did to get to him. And he was awake and alert when he left for the hospital. He's getting tests done now. But he's awake, alert. He's doing well. They're expecting him to make a recovery. Whether or not he plays hockey again is still unknown. I can't imagine that he wouldn't. But, I just want to give my well wishes to Jay and hope that he gets better soon. And I will love to see him back out on the ice sooner than later.
Absolutely.
And what's with the sport of hockey? We've seen this, quite a number of times, and it's specific to hockey. I mean, I've seen some cardiac events in other sports, but a lot in hockey. I mean, going, as recently as Letang's stroke.
Yeah.
Is it
immediately
something
Even
about
Rich Peverly legitimately
Right.
dropping dead on the bench
Right.
in
Right.
2014.
Right. So, I mean, is it something about the sport, do you think? 'Cause, is it very cardiovascular? Yes, but so is basketball, so is soccer.
Here's my thing. Jay Bouwmeester's a former Ironman.
Right. Yeah.
Played in 900 straight games.
Yeah.
Obviously, he takes care of himself to an extent.
Right.
He has to.
Right.
To play in that
Yeah.
many games in a row, it's crazy. They didn't release what may have caused it, and that's fine. Keep that within the family. We don't need to know that information, but it's still very scary. I unfortunately did get to watch it live. It was terrifying. I know some people who were actually in the crowd during the game had no idea what was going on. It's just, like I said, my well wishes go out to Jay and his family and friends and the Blues organization.
And maybe it's just an example of maybe they pushed themselves way too hard.
It was
you
almost.
know?
It was
And
almost.
maybe they push themselves so hard they go past even the limits that they're supposed to go by. And I mean, sometimes that happens with athletes. They're so driven to reach that goal. They're so driven to be the best that they can be. Sometimes they go way too far. There's too much of bad food and there's too much of working out. Sometimes you go too far. And the worst case scenario, this
It
can
was
happen.
right after a
Point,
shift too. It was right after a shift. They skated to the bench. It was during a commercial break, and he was reaching for water, and he just drops.
Just dropped, yeah.
And he had luckily there was a teammate on each side, but one of the teammates who was standing up was facing him, watched him drop, started going like this. Petrangelo skating back around, sees what's going on, peeks over the bench, sees Bouwmeester on the ground, rips off his glove and starts, screaming and yelling and waving his arms, skates away to go get more medical help. The Blues players ripped the bench out, moved the bench to make it easier for everybody to get to him. It's just the way that everybody reacted and how quick they took care of it. They legitimately saved Jay's life.
Yes. And thank you all for doing that. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank God that Jay Bouwmeester is still alive, and hopefully he is for plenty years to come. And like we are happy, healthy, and moving on with the Hockey Happy Hour. And we'll be doing that next week right here on a2dradio.com, live at 10 o'clock Thursday. And we will have plenty more for you guys. And we'll get the results of that bracket, by the way, Broda.
Yes.
Yes, that's very important that we get those results.
I will provide them to you. I'll bring some brackets for you guys to do before the show.
Oh, well then thank you. We very much would appreciate it.
Anytime.
And with that, we thank you all for joining us for another edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. Matt Satsuni, the Darkwing Brian Daly.
Yep.
The Energizer Bunny version of him tonight.
Oh, dear.
And right on over here, the broken one, Rob Povia. And behind the board, the sign guy, Mr. Ryan Brodo, bringing his pandemonium and shenanigans as always to the show.
I try.
We thank you all for joining us. We will see you next week right here on a2tradio.com, everybody. Peace.